Welcome back to the urban farmyard where this city girl goes country. In today's video I'm showing you the process we use to transition newborn babies onto solid food. Let's go take a look. Hi guys, well we have kittens of all sorts of ages in our care right now. At last count we had around 120 between our rescue centre and families who are caring for them on our behalf. One of the questions I get from a lot of families who are juggling newborn kittens is when do they start eating solid food? The answer to that is it does depend on the individual kitten, but in general, at the age of around 4 to 5 weeks, they start showing sufficient interest in solid food that you can begin routinely introducing it to them. But there's a bit of a process that we use to get them used to solid food in addition to still feeding on their mum's milk. The first food we introduce to our young babies is always meat. Now the meat we use is processed and it's specialist kitten food that's designed to be a consistency that little ones find really easy to eat. Initially kittens tend to lick and lap foods rather than picking it up in their mouth and actually eating it. They use a similar process to what they would if you were to give them a bowl of milk. And so the kitten food that we use is a mousse-like texture. It's very thin, it's very easy for them to lick, and it's very palatable and easy for them to ingest. What we do is we just put a bowl of kitten food in a cage with mum and the babies. Babies tend to follow their mum's lead, so when mum gravitates towards the bowl and starts to eat, at around the age of 4 or 5 weeks, the babies will start to do the same. We find that there are some litters of kittens who immediately start eating as soon as we introduce wet food to them, while others are a little bit more reluctant. With the ones who are about 5 weeks old and still not showing a huge amount of interest, sometimes we help them along the way. What we will do is blend the kitten food with a little bit of water and we will syringe feed it to them to get them used to what it feels like in their mouth and get used to the smell and taste of it. We find that by blending food into a thinner paste and getting it into them via syringe really does help the introductory process, and after a few days most of them will start eating on their own. The next step is we then begin to introduce them to dry food. Dry food here at the rescue centre really is the mainstay of our animals' diet. We give all our animals, whether they be cats or dogs, chickens, horses, we give them access to food 24/7 to enable them to graze when they're hungry. So we keep dry food in the cages with mum and kittens at all times. Again, we use a specialist kitten food and our preferred options are Iams kitten or Royal Canin kitten. Both are really good high quality foods and they come with little pieces of kibble that are really easy for tiny kittens to pick up and digest. In most cases, once they've been introduced to meat, kittens will then begin to show an interest in dry food without any encouragement. But in the odd instance that we have a kitten who isn't so keen on dry food, we will then blend wet food with dry food to help wean them onto it. If they are really resistant, then we will take this a step further. We will soak their dry food in warm water, wait for it to cool down. We will then blend it with wet food and introduce it to them like that. Over time, we will gradually add less water so the consistency of the dry food is crunchier and is a little more dry. And over time, we find that kittens do get used to the dry food as well as the wet food and they end up eating on their own. So I hope today's been helpful and I'll see you back here tomorrow.